Hello everybody, welcome to our virtual kindergarten parent workshop. We're going to start out by listening to a little message from our principal, Mrs. Tyler, and from our PTO president, Jill Bentley.
Hello, NAT families, and welcome to our annual Title I Parent Workshop. We are so glad you have chosen to learn more about your child's education. This is probably one of our most challenging years, but together we will make it a great one. Our teachers have worked hard to put this presentation together, and they continue to amaze me with their hard work and dedication to provide a quality education for your children. We are a Title I school. Under the Title I school-wide concept, our entire school benefits from this federally funded education program. Some advantages include an emphasis on family involvement, additional teaching materials, and teacher units. The goal of Title I is to provide student involvement, effective instruction, and professional development. The Title I Summary and Parent Compact are in your child's agenda. Tonight will just be one of the many opportunities for you as parents to become directly involved in your child's education. By listening to this presentation, you are showing your children that you care about their education and are taking an active role in their learning. Thank you for your ongoing support and trusting us to provide the best possible education. Don't forget to answer the survey questions at the end of the presentation. Now you will hear a few words from our PTO president, Jill Bentley.
Good evening, NAT families, and welcome back. If you're new to our school, I'd like to welcome you to this wonderful school community. I'm Jill Bentley, the president of the PTO. I have a 5th grader and a kindergartner, and we feel very blessed to be a part of this school community. The PTO does many wonderful things for our school, my favorite being providing all of the school supplies for each of our students here at Babson Park. To make this possible, we have fundraisers, and we need your help. Please be on the lookout and help us by participating in the fundraisers as they come home with your children. We currently have the fall fundraiser wrapping paper fundraiser going on, so please get out and participate and sell some wrapping paper and some of the other fun items out of the catalog. I hope you all have a good evening. I'm looking forward to seeing you and your students around campus. Have a great night. Thanks.
Next, here's a little bit about me. My name is Mrs. Barker. This is my 6th year teaching kindergarten at Babson Park Elementary. Some things that we expect for you this year is for you to read to your child daily. This is the most important thing that we ask of you. And then we also would like you to sign the reading log in their folder. Also, make your child accountable for jobs at home. You'll notice this will help them become more responsible. Please initial the daily behavior calendar and take out any extra papers from your child's folder. There is usually a blue kindergarten newsletter that comes home at the end of the week. This will tell you all the things that we've learned about. It'll give you a way to kind of check in with your child and see if they've grasped those concepts. There's also a weekly progress report that'll be stapled to that. That'll let you know how your child's doing in class. If you'll sign that and return it on Monday, we would greatly appreciate it. A few things to help make your child successful this year. Make sure they go to bed early, eat a good breakfast, have a good morning routine at home. Make sure they always have their book bag. Good attendance is another thing that's important. Also, coming to school on time is important. We don't ever want them to miss anything. Our day starts as soon as they walk in the door. They have jobs that they need to do, so please have them here on time. Also, send them off with a positive goodbye. That'll help their day. And then stay in touch. If there's anything you need to let me know, feel free to text, email me throughout the day. Some homework that your child might have is nightly reading, of course, the most important thing. At this stage, it's more of you reading to your child, having that story time at home. As the year progresses, you might be able to mix in some time where they read to you also. Right now, your child has handwriting homework 2 times a week, and eventually we will start sending home Spark and some little easy readers, some of them being grandma books. And you'll hear a little bit more about those as we go through this PowerPoint. Some things you can expect from me are to teach specific skills in reading, writing, math, science, and social studies. I hope to instill a love of coming to school and learning in your child. I hope to encourage their sense of curiosity, and I hope to provide many opportunities for them to become confident, independent learners. And of course, to be a resource to you parents as well. Some things we can expect from your child are for them to fully participate in all learning activities in class, to give their best effort in anything they do, to take care of school and personal possessions, to work nicely with others in a group, to follow the kindergarten discipline plan, and of course for them to give you any notices, papers from school, and to return those back to me from you. Here are our Super Nat Essentials. These are some things that our school is really focusing on to help your child have good manners and to believe in themselves, and just some important things. I'm going to let you read through this on your own time. Here are our class rules that we have. Your child can probably tell you these. We go over them almost every day. Listen when others are talking, follow directions, keep your hands, feet, and objects to yourself, work quietly and do not disturb others, show respect for school and personal property, and work and play in a safe manner. If your child does not follow these rules or breaks one of them, they'll be asked to pull a stick. They have popsicle sticks in the classroom that have their name on them, and if they're asked to pull a stick, they take their popsicle stick and put it in cup number 1, which is a warning. If they pulled a cup number 2, they sit in timeout for a few minutes. Cup number 3 would mean no free centers or recess. Number 4 is a phone call or a note home to you, and number 5 would be an office referral. And every day our sticks start over. So if your child pulls a stick one day, they make it to the warning. The next day they start fresh. So we like to give them that fresh start each day to let them know that those things aren't carrying over from the days before. Don't be alarmed if your child pulls a few sticks. That we're learning, they're learning, and this is just a good way for them to know if they are making a mistake and how to correct it. So just check their behavior calendar at the beginning of their folder. If you're noticing that they're missing that alligator stamp multiple times a week, that's when you may want to reach out to me or have a talk with them and just let them know, you have to work hard, try not to pull sticks, and talk to them about the behaviors that you notice that they're missing out of their stamp for. We do lots of things to encourage good behavior in your students as well. A child who behaves in school will do better in school. They'll enjoy coming to school, and they'll earn some rewards for their behavior also. One thing is they'll be recognized as a Super Nat. Once a month we have a Super Nat assembly where we get to watch a video and we'll call out all the students who were Super Nats that month, and they get a little prize for that as well. We play PAX games in the classroom, and they get to earn prizes and brain breaks for that. We call those Granny's Wacky Prizes. And they also will receive Patinats like what you see in this picture here. If your child has not gotten a Patinat yet, they will at some point this year. We have one student a week who's recognized on Nat News and gets to take home the Patinat. It's a really big deal. So if your child brings this home, praise them, put it on their refrigerator, make them feel special because they've really worked hard for it. Some safety things about our school is that any threats are taken very seriously, especially at a young age. Students say things, they may not understand what they're saying, or they may not realize if what they're saying is bad. So please talk to your students about making threats to one another or threats to themselves because they are taken very seriously. Law enforcement could be called to be involved also. Hopefully soon parents will be allowed back on campus. And whenever that is the case, please make sure you have your IDs, especially if we have big school-wide events like Super Nat. And there is the Fortify Florida app that you can download to your phone. That's another thing that you probably won't need until volunteers are allowed on campus, but it's just a way for you to connect to the school quickly if you notice anything suspicious going on campus. Some communication things. We will have conferences either face-to-face or via Zoom phone call at least twice a year just to check in on your child's progress. I'm going to start scheduling some of those soon, so just look for notes in your child's folder. Your child also receives the progress report that you see in this picture most Fridays. They will also receive a report card every 9 weeks. Our kindergarten grades are either S, N's, or U's. S for satisfactory, N for needs improvement, and U for unsatisfactory. There will also be a paper inside the report card that talks about what those specific skills are we're looking for in each area. And then there'll be a little report card receipt for you to sign saying that you received the report card. Here's a picture of our kindergarten report card. You'll see some of the areas that they're marked in over on the left side are more of the academic areas. And then the right side is more of the social growth and work habits. We are giving your child a grade on these things that you see on here. It's just as important that they learn how to develop good work habits and to develop socially with their peers. Here's the back of the report card. It's a place for me to put comments. You'll see on the second and third 9 weeks, there is a little box that may be checked if your child is functioning below grade level and having a hard time meeting promotional requirements. Some things that we do in reading. We learn a lot of concepts of print, starting with finding the cover of the book, the back of the book. Do they read left to right? Tracking the words. All of those things are so important. And then that leads into our basic sight words. I know you've heard all about those word bank words and power words we've been working on. Please study those words with your child. That is really one of the very first steps to teaching them to learn how to read. We build everything off of those words. They will get more repetition with that when we get into Spark and Grandma books, but for now, they have their anthologies where they practice these words. We also need them to recognize all capital and lowercase letters. If your child is struggling with that, that's something you can work on now, especially if it's a letter we've already learned in handwriting. That's when we expect them to know that letter and recognize it, is once we've gotten to it during our handwriting lesson. Eventually, we will start some letter sound associations. A lot of schools start with that first day of school. They're learning A says ah. Our school works a little different. We start with the words first and then progress to the letter sounds. That way, the students have something to refer back to. So when they learn that C says K, they can think about the word cat that they already know as a concrete something to refer it to. We also work to increase your child's vocabulary and language. We want them to listen and be able to comprehend, and also to be able to comprehend pictures. We want them to answer literal and implied questions, develop great comprehension skills, and love to read. Here is an example of a Spark paper. Your child will start Spark somewhere in the next month or two. This is an example of Spark number 23. So it starts with Spark number 1. It goes all the way up into the 200s. Each page is a new word, and the sentences build off of each other. So Spark number 1 is the word A, and it's very simple. A cat, a dog, a fish. And it's just 10 sentences, and then it builds like that. So on Spark number 22 that we have here, the new word is help, and it's in every single sentence. But the other words in the sentence are words that your child would have previously had in Spark. So they should know how to read this page fluently by the time they have it for homework. If your child is bringing home a Spark lesson and they struggle with it, please let me know, because Spark should be fluent. They should be able to read it on their own without your help. Here's an example of a Spark kinesthetic practice sheet. After every set of 10 Spark words, they'll bring home one of these practice sheets where they practice reading the word and writing it 3 times on the line. And they'll go down the list and do that just as some extra practice reading and writing the word. Because if they're doing a kinesthetic practice sheet, that means the next day they're taking a Spark test. And they will love Spark tests. I've noticed a class in the past, they think it's so cool and so fun to take a Spark test. I teach it to them kind of like it's a puzzle. Each sentence has a missing piece, and here are your pieces. We have to figure out which word goes in each sentence. Now, the first few times we do this will be completely together. We'll sit in the group, we'll read the sentence together, and we'll brainstorm what words make sense. As the year progresses, your child will be able to take this paper and do it on their own, which is a really neat and exciting thing for them. And of course, the most important thing, there's no app to replace your lap. As often as you can, pick your child up, read them stories, sit with them and talk to them about those stories. It is the most important thing you can do for them. When it comes to writing, we've been working in our journals. We do journal writing Monday through Thursday. And right now, your child is expected to draw a picture on topic with details. I give them a topic every day when we start our jobs, and their job is to draw me a picture and write the date. Now, some of them have started writing some sentences, which isn't a have to at this point, but it will be soon. Their writing starts with just the drawing, just the picture. Then some of them went through the stage where they're doing pretend writing or just writing random letters, scribbling. That's fine. It's at least teaching them that their journal is a place where they can try to write. That progresses into writing words that they know. When we're writing, I tell them all the time, go research that. If it's a word bank word, if they're writing about a mouse, I'll tell them to research the word mouse. Get out your word bank and find it and copy it. So we research words a lot. And the last stage of writing is to put a power line. If there's a word that your child cannot research, please don't spell it for them. That's not helping them. Tell them just to write a blank line for a power line. We don't know many letter sounds yet. Now, if your child knows them from preschool or has previous knowledge of letter sounds, they can try to sound out a word. That's great. But I don't want them being frustrated if they can't sound it out. So that's why we tell them to just do a little simple straight line. And then as we start to learn more letter sounds, they can input those letters on the line until eventually by the end of kindergarten, the line isn't there and they're simply sounding out the word. You'll see a few examples of journals on the next few slides. And then, of course, listening for information and speaking skills are also so important for this kindergarten age. Here's a picture or an example of a really good detailed picture. The topic was something you learned about mice. And so this child drew their mouse, they have a little nest, and then they told me that my baby mice are pink when they're born, and they have the little baby mice in the nest. So they know that when you're drawing your picture, you can't just put one little thing on there. You need to have details. So they have the tree, the clouds, the sun, all those things to make their picture look nice. Here's an example of kind of a middle of the year sentence. You'll see that there's a few power lines on there, a few words that were researchable, and then a few, we call this giving our lines some power, some sounds that child heard. Ideally, here's where we would like them to be by the end of the year. Writing complete sentences on their own, at least 2 or 3, and trying their best to sound out words. Also notice that we're looking for that handwriting application in their writing too. Some math topics that we'll cover this year are number sense, such as counting to 100, writing numbers, comparing numbers, using terms like fewer, greater, less, equal. We'll learn addition and subtraction within 10, numbers to base 10, for example, 18 is 10 and 8 more. We'll talk about geometry, which are different shapes, 2 and 3-dimensional shapes, and we'll also do some measurement and comparing height, weight, and length. Some other curriculum is handwriting. We've already started that, 2 lessons a week, and please help your child make sure that they are applying that handwriting in other places. When they write their name, they should be doing the correct strokes that we've learned. And also in their journal or when they're just writing for fun, remind them to use the correct strokes. We also incorporate a lot of science and social studies in our thematic units that we do. We study a lot of animals and a lot of science during our weekly units. And then we also have our kindergarten support program, which at the moment is not up and running, but we hope to get it going soon. Mrs. Partington is in charge of that, and she's been doing a lot of work with our online students. But our kindergarten support program is for those students who are really struggling to keep up academically. They may be having a hard time in the mornings when we're doing a lot of our whole group instruction or independent work. So our kindergarten support program just gives them a chance to be pulled out of the classroom for a bit, get a more small group instruction, and really focus on their individual needs. So we hope to have that up and running soon. Our daily schedule, there's going to be a copy of that in this Schoology folder for you to print out or for you to look at and just see what a day in kindergarten's like. Our special classes, on Tuesday we have art, Monday we have music, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday are PE days, and on Wednesday we go to the media center for a lesson. Here are some other important things before we end this. The first thing is we do not celebrate birthdays by refreshments or parties. I promise your child will be celebrated. We will sing to them. We will let them have a birthday crown. They'll get a birthday goodie bag. We will do lots of things to make them special, but unfortunately we do not allow parents to send in refreshments or do parties. And also make sure your child has a note if how they're getting home changes. And if they are absent, please send an excuse. That way they can be marked excused in the system. And the last thing is this Scholastic flyer. There's a picture of it right here. Oops, how do we go back? Okay. There's a picture of it right here. I will start sending some of these home attached to a little letter that will let you know when the due date is. And I apologize. This due date right here is not correct, and I meant to change that before this started. But your child will be bringing home a flyer soon. This is a great way to order some books if you need books at home, or if you want to reward your child by letting them pick out some books. There's usually several cheap options, $1, $2 books. So you'll get a Scholastic News flyer coming home. You can order that. There'll be instructions on there of how to get on the website and order it. Or if you want to send in your order form with a cash or check, I can submit it for you. So you'll get a paper with that coming home soon. And then finally is my contact information, email address, school phone number, and my cell phone number. As always, if you need anything, reach out to me and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And thank you so much for taking time just to watch this video. I really wish we could have done this parent workshop night in person because there's so much that I would love for you to see in our classroom, like your child's work and all of their things. But hopefully when we come in for a conference, I'll give you that chance to do that. So thank you so much for taking time to watch this. Let me know if you have any questions or if there's anything that I didn't answer on here that you would like to know.